Hi there. We're live. This is Monday, May 10th, 2021. And have I got some news for you today? First of all, let me just start. I don't know if any of you guys are on Telegram. I am under my name, Mary Ellen. That's it, Mary Ellen. I know there are a couple of you that are on Telegram. So there's a billboard in Phoenix made by the Satanic Temple, openly admitting that abortion is ritualistic child sacrifice. And here it is. It says, "Our religious abortion ritual averts many state restrictions." So here's the that's the billboard, and of course it shows that this is not a baby, and this is not let me go, it's backwards here. This is not a baby, it's a sperm going into an egg, and this is not an egg, not a cake, which shows the batter. So here, and then of course right at the very top here you can see the upside down pentagram indicating the satanic forces. Interesting that they're admitting that. This Telegram thing here says the reason Trump hasn't come back has nothing to do with the election fraud that they're trying to overturn, which I thought was interesting. They keep finding more and more children underground and around the world. And so she is claiming that that is the main reason Trump hasn't gotten back yet, because of how many world leaders are involved, not just political, but business and so on too. And that would be interesting. Now that's CBK News. It's supposedly Carolyn Bissett Kennedy, who is that channel that I just found out about. Now I'm going to tell you about two things that I want you to look at. I just am hesitant to talk about what's there because I don't want to get taken down. If you go to Restored Republic on YouTube, there's a lot of information. I remember seeing something about Restored Republic that had to do with President Trump and news coming in the future. And I subscribed immediately, and nothing was there at all for 2 months, 2 or 3 months. I think it was January or February, beginning of March, somewhere in there, that this information came out, and I subscribed. And they started just 2-3 weeks ago posting things. So the latest one today was really interesting. The other thing I want you to go to, you should write this down or go back and listen so you can catch it. RealRawNews.com. Here, let me type that in for you in the comments here. I tried to get to it through Google, and it would not let me in. It would not let me. Now, others have been able to get in through Google. I have not been able to. So if you go to RealRawNews.com, I got in through DuckDuckGo. You'll be shocked at some of the stuff that it talks about there. Says something about Hillary, says something about Podesta, says something about Pelosi, James Comey. And somebody said that remember the raid on Rudy Giuliani's apartment recently, and they didn't want Hunter Biden's laptop information. There was something else they were looking for. Well, remember, Giuliani was one of the ones who got this whole election fraud business started. He was one of the first to start addressing it and trying to get the courts to deal with it and trying to get the state legislatures to deal with it. So, that's payback in a way. The other piece is, if you go to Real Raw News, look at Hillary number 5. I'm just, it's not called Hillary number 5. It says something about Hillary, and it uses the numeral 5. So if you go to that story, you will find that Rudy Giuliani, Mike Pompeo, and Trump were at an event where Hillary said, "I'm Hillary Clinton, you can't do this to me." And Trump said, "It's already done." And apparently whatever is going on that you will read about that I can't say here, apparently Giuliani had one of many videos that were taken, and he had a copy, and that's what they were really after. So I'm not going to say any more about that, and I hope I haven't said too much. But you do want to go pay attention to that. And whether there's any truth to it or not, I'm full of hope. But I can't vet and prove that, and that's why I am not saying anything more, because you need to go do that research, and I'm just telling you where to look. So Patrick Byrne, he used to be the president of Overstock.com. He's on Telegram, and he said that the daughter of Biden's chief of staff wrote a letter to the DOJ to stop the Arizona audit. So now they went as far as they could with the court system in Arizona, and were told that they didn't have enough proof to stop the audit, and so it was proceeding. So now they're trying to get the DOJ, Biden's DOJ. I understand that the Arizona Supreme Court got a motion to unseat all state officials. Now, I don't know. I didn't see anything more than that headline, and so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing if they were to do that, because we certainly don't want the good guys unseated. So I'm not sure what to think about that. There's also a citizens group in Arizona that is suing because of the election results for the last 3 years, starting in 2018, not just the most recent election, and wanting to look at fraud. So, here are people who are stepping up to do something, which I really appreciate. And then the Arizona also ruled that you can't now add signatures when a ballot was unsigned. You can't go adding signatures now, whether you are going to be able to find who wrote the ballot or somebody's going to forge the name. Can't do that. So if it wasn't signed, it gets thrown out. The CDC this weekend admitted the COVID deaths. There were 4,178 COVID deaths. Now, whatever happened to the hundreds of thousands that they supposedly were? I don't know. Are they suddenly now doing real numbers, or what's going on that they're claiming 4,000 deaths? And I don't know what time period. But I did read that with this number of 4,000 deaths, that is more than the number of any other vaccine put together in the last 20 years. So what's really going on? I can't say. I heard a rumor that they are waiting, that the Trump team is waiting for 60% of the population to turn against Biden before he were to come back. I'll tell you, we live in such incredible times as to trying to figure out what is really going on. I heard today, or I read today, about Bishop Garrison. He is the, where did I put this? He's the advisor to the Secretary of Defense, and he's the one that is vetting everybody coming into the military. He is a race zealot who's trying to purge all Trump supporters out of the military. He believes in critical race theory, which says that whites are evil, especially if you're a white man. He works at the Defense Department, and he calls us domestic terrorists for being Trump supporters. This is biblical. where it says that in the end of days, the good will be considered evil and evil will be considered good. So, this is all stuff indicating the title today, The War Between Good and Evil. I wanted to change the title and let you know that I was going to read one of Larry's prayers, and I decided, no, we really are in a war between good and evil. Pastor Artur, I think it's Pawlowski. So the police came back to his service Saturday, and the people ran them off. And so they waited for him to leave the church and be driving home. And they stopped him in the middle of the road and arrested him right smack in the middle of the road. And I don't know if you've seen the pictures of it, but, they're carrying him with his arms behind his back and lifting his feet up. He was arrested by the communists in, I think it's Poland. And he came to Canada expecting freedom. And now the same thing is happening to him again for preaching the gospel. And he's not the only one who's being considered, breaking the law for being a preacher. There is, I don't remember the guy's name, but there's somebody in a pastor in Louisiana, I think it's Louisiana, who was arrested. In any case, he's under the 5th District Court, or 5th District Court of Appeals, I think, 5th Circuit Court of Appeals. So this pastor, this American pastor, was arrested for preaching. It was apparently fast-tracked to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court refused to hear the case and threw it back at the 5th Circuit. So the 5th Circuit is hearing his case June 7th and 8th. There's a group of people with Dave Daubenmire, Coach Dave Daubenmire, who are going to go down to New Orleans June 7th and 8th. There's a church that has a nice carpet on the floor that has opened their doors. There is a hotel next door. They have bathroom facilities, of course, at the church, but no showers. So the church is going to rent a room at the hotel next door if people want to go in and take a shower the second morning. But they're opening their doors for people to come in to, there's a kitchen there at the church. And if anybody wants to come and be part of a protest outside of the courthouse, that's June 7th and 8th. I know there's a bus of people going. I have not found out where this bus is headed from and to and which direction they're going. When I find out, I will let you know. There were 6 who were arrested in the Horn of Africa for sharing the gospel, and they're going on trial this week. Now, the Horn of Africa, isn't that where Somalia and Eritrea are? Very strong Muslim countries. They're going on trial. And so when I found out about this morning, I just started praying, Lord, be with them as you, and I saw it on Facebook, and this is the prayer I posted on Facebook. Lord, be with them as you were with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego when they were in Babylon and refused to worship the golden statue of Nebuchadnezzar. And yes, we must obey God's law rather than the law of man. Absolutely. That was said in the book of Acts. That was Peter who said that. So we need to be praying for these pastors and these evangelists and these missionaries. And I remember growing up and what Idi Amin did in Uganda when I was a teenager. The Christians that were slaughtered because they were Christian, and he was just such an ungodly atheist. We need to be praying again for the peace of Jerusalem. I just saw an article saying that the people, Hamas, were laughing as they saw the rockets coming into the Jewish area from Gaza. We need to be aware that this colonial gas pipeline where they hacked into the computer system. You know, that's going to make gas prices and food prices go up. And my first thought was not just for my second thought. My first thought was how gas and food prices are going to go up and how that hurts the little man. Yes, Christian, I got it. Thank you. How that hurts the little, the more poor you are, the more that hurts. And don't say you're not going to raise taxes on us. You're going to take our money anyway. My second thought was, who did this? And if people in the deep state are being taken out, and if their money's being confiscated, it looked to me like a power grab to get as much as they could, as long as they could. It makes me wonder what's really going on with the divorce of Bill and Melinda Gates. I promised myself I wouldn't discuss that, but it just makes me wonder, not just how much money can they now pull out of the stock market and have an excuse to pull their money out. I have seen Melinda Gates sitting beside Bill talking about the things that he was gloating over with his eugenics activities. She knew. And so to think that she is now pulling away from him because of his going on Lolita Express with Jeffrey Epstein, give me a break. Don't tell me she didn't know about it. I don't believe that one bit. And it makes me wonder, is she trying to separate so that if he goes down, she doesn't go down, so she will still be here to keep doing the stuff that the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation did? That she has said that they're going to continue working together. So, we've got to be, don't ever forget that Larry says it's not what you hear about in the news that is truly what's going on. Look behind the scenes. So that's my question. Is this what's going on behind the scenes? Larry always said that I was wrong in my analysis, but he finally admitted that I was really close, that I didn't get it exactly right, but I was close. So I'm just throwing that out there. I'm saying this is my opinion. This is my question. I'm just wondering. Now, there are some incredible investment opportunities showing themselves. And I want to talk about the story I heard today about this. I was listening to Mel K. She was interviewing a woman who lives in Minnesota, maybe Minneapolis. She was talking about an Omar investment group. She said this happened in Portland, and it's happening in Minneapolis. The stores and things that have been looted and destroyed were actually owned by Black people. And here are Antifa and BLM rioting and destroying. And is it possible that this is being done intentionally so that the likes of somebody like Omar and an investment group, maybe with relatives or something, are they orchestrating this awful deed so that they can buy up land to make wealth for themselves? She's certainly good at learning how to do evil, it seems. So again, I'm just asking questions. It's the destruction of an economic zone to bring in a new economic zone. And there's a lot of Somalians there. So is this a way for them to corner the market? I'm asking a question. Questions are allowed, right? And I also heard the idea that they are trying to, because some of the families, like Trayvon Martin or George Floyd, their families got so many millions of dollars from the police. Is this something that they're being told, that if you sacrifice yourself, your families will get rich if you get, taken out by a cop? Are people really going to believe that? Is this something that's going on? Like I said, we just have to think about and ask questions and dig for what's going on behind. I have no idea if there is any truth to what I'm doing. But manipulation, Christian, are you kidding me? Yes. Political manipulation, is that a possibility with what's going on? Good comment. The other thing I heard was a discussion of Gaddafi and bin Laden. Remember how evil we were told they were, and therefore we could rejoice because they'd been taken out? And remember how we're being told that everything we've been told is a lie? So much of history we have believed is a lie. So I heard somebody say today, and I think it was the Mel K interview, that Gaddafi was loved by his people and the things that he was doing to help them, bringing water in and so on. And that Osama bin Laden was just a very quiet guy. So why was he made the scapegoat? I mean, that one, we were told just in detail about how wicked and evil these people were. And when you get confused and don't know what to think, this is part of the manipulation that leaves people willing to believe what they're told and follow along and do what the government tells you to do because of the way they manipulate the news. So we've got to be careful. And then I think of what's going on in South Carolina with them getting ready this weekend to vote for a new leader of the GOP, the Republican Party in South Carolina. And the current leader, head of the Republican Party in South Carolina, it seems to be, I won't accuse anybody because I don't have the proof, Lin Wood does, seems to be playing, Lin Wood claims that he is playing very many dirty tricks to make sure he stays in power. Lin Wood's, we need to be praying that Lin Wood, that the people will see through the trickery and will vote for Lin Wood. Who stands to benefit? Exactly. Who stands to benefit? Just think of who benefited even from what happened in Benghazi. The drug, the gun running that was going on. And apparently the ambassador there was about ready to spill the beans on some woman who was in the State Department at the time. We definitely need to be discerning of the news. Quantum, Kate says, are resources becoming scarce? And is this the trickery of the warming debate of the globe? See, I am proud of you. I'm proud of me for having learned what I did from Larry, because I didn't used to, no, I've always thought like this. I can't say I didn't used to, but I kept it to myself. I didn't ever stick my neck out and let people know what I was thinking until I got with Larry and started asking, because I really wanted to know, was I on the money? Was I close to what's really going on? And sometimes the issue isn't a matter of being right. Sometimes the issue is, are you questioning what's going on? Sometimes it's more important to question than it is to have the right answer. Okay. Remember, I started off showing you the billboard in Phoenix about what's going on, admitting, the satanic symbol, admitting that they use abortions for satanic rituals. Admitting it right there on a billboard. So if they're admitting that there, how many other people do you think are involved in satanic rituals? So I got a phone call today from somebody who considers himself part of our team here. Not somebody who's ever been in I don't think I've ever seen his name in the chat. Well, let me back up a little bit before I get to this story. Thank you, V. Yes, it did seem that Gaddafi was trying to do things to make things better for his people. And then we are told what an evil person he was and lied to. I grieve for the people. I grieve for the people. Because when you think of what Larry told us with money that is given to support projects in other countries, how it just comes back as kickback to the congressmen who vote that money in and goes to the people in power in the country that it's going to and doesn't go to the people. We need to be asking these questions and pursuing the questions. So when I was at the National Day of Prayer on Thursday, forgive me, I started a thought and I'm backtracking, but I'll get back to it. When I was at National Day of Prayer Thursday, I met my state senator, and he told me to get in touch with somebody named Pat. And Pat was telling me over a couple of days ago that she wakes up from 3 to 4 to pray and read the Bible, and often is given things that she writes down that she feels has been given to her by the Lord. And I said to her, I used to get up and pray between 2 and 3. That is the witches' time for a lot of their witchcraft and monkey business that they're doing. And so I was really appreciating that she was up praying from 3 to 4, even though it's kind of at the end of that time. But I really felt that she was involved in spiritual warfare and was very happy to learn about that. So yesterday morning, the first thing when I woke up was put on the armor of God. I started thinking through Ephesians 6. Put on the helmet of salvation. Now, the word salvation is going to mean something in a minute when I finish the story. Put on the helmet of salvation. I said, Lord, thank you. I have received Christ. I am saved. I'm wearing my helmet today. That word salvation is going to be important. Just give me a minute. And then I went, the breastplate of righteousness. Lord, thank you for helping me guard my mouth yesterday when I wanted to gossip about something that happened to me, and I realized I didn't need to talk about it. And I bit my lip and I said, I'm not going there, and I didn't discuss it. And I said, forgive me for the times that I have not maintained purity and righteousness. And so I went through confession. And before I got to, more of the armor, I fell back asleep. At some point, remember I said I got a call from somebody who considers himself part of our team. At some point, that his name came to mind. I didn't know what he was doing this weekend, had no clue, hadn't talked to him in some days. The name came to mind. And my immediate thought was, Lord, protect him and his family. And then I let it go. So I get a call today. They were in near what could have been a fatal accident. He always was the driver. And there is a good possibility that if he had been behind the wheel, what he would have done to avoid the accident may have actually caused their death. He didn't know why he had allowed his wife to drive, but she asked if she could drive, and he said yes. And when this accident was about to happen, she acknowledged there was nowhere for her to go to avoid it without possibly hurting somebody else. And he is recognizing that God spared their lives, God saved them. But he also acknowledged that he is convinced that there is somebody doing witchcraft. that may have been the cause of this accident. So we had quite a discussion of that. So after that conversation ended, I see this billboard about satanic rituals being done. And we had discussed it was very possible that what's going on could be a result of satanic ritual. And I thought, I am so glad that I went through putting on the armor of God and making sure that I had done the right thing earlier over the weekend in not gossiping, that I had made sure I had the habit of salvation, because that name came into my mind and I prayed. And I am convinced that that prayer was part of their salvation from death. He had heard a voice, probably the Satan, last Monday telling him, you might not survive the week. So between what he was doing to be prayed up for himself, to be prayed up for his family, and what I was doing when God called his name to mind, and yes, it did damage to the car, but they are both uninjured, completely uninjured. What a miracle that is. And that's why I didn't change the title from talking about, mentioning in the title that I'm going to read a prayer from Larry from 3 years ago today, because we are in a war between good and evil. So I'm going to go to some stuff that is on Facebook today. I'm in a prayer and fasting. It's called Fast for America is the name of this group. And so our leader posted this: a baby hemorrhaged to death after the mother who was nursing the baby took the second, she calls it jab is what she's called. The doctor reported that this baby hemorrhaged to death after this nursing mother got her second jab. So here's what my prayer leader said. For the record, the manufacturers of Peloton, that's a machine that you walk on. They were forced to recall, treadmills. They were forced to recall thousands of treadmills because a child was sucked up under one and killed. That was one incident, and yet these treadmills are recalled and production shut down. Isn't that a good thing? Well, then you tell me why the death of a nursing baby who hemorrhaged to death after its mother took the second jab is not getting the same reaction. Make no mistake, that's just the one we've heard about. If there's one, surely there are more. Before you roll your eyes and vomit the words out of your mouth, that's just my leader talking, that she's a conspiracy theorist and needs help. It might do you good to know that this information came from a doctor who's former military and served on a special committee task force that had to do with bioweapons. There are doctors, at least some intelligent ones, now refusing to take patients that have been, she calls it, jabulated, because they pose a threat. That's right. If you took the jab, you have now become the producer of a spike protein that you can transmit to others. She goes, before you haters start in on me, think again. There are thousands of reports rolling in of women who are bleeding, more like hemorrhaging, massive clots after being around somebody who was inoculated. You think these women made it up? She's seen pictures of what's coming out. I haven't seen the pictures that she's seen, but I've heard about it. That's just my aside here. She said you can go to her website, theamericaproject.us, and click on her blog and listen to the interview talking about this. She said, I can't put the direct link to the interview here or Facebook will take it down. She said, now you tell me why the death of a toddler from Peloton accident is more important than the death of a newborn because of the jab. This is heinous and horrific. Wake up before it's too late. Now, remember last Thursday, I said it was the anniversary of the end of the Vietnam War, and somebody posted on Friday a picture of a bunch of men raising their right hand, and it said, if students today think their senior year has been ruined, remind them that from 1964 to 1970, many seniors took their senior trip to Vietnam. So if you were one of them listening to me today, once again, I want to say thank you. Here's another thing that was posted this weekend that I just really caught my attention. So thanks to Nick for posting this. So after improving the health of a 93-year-old man in a hospital in Italy, he was asked to pay the cost of the respirator for a day, and then the old man began to cry. The doctor advised him not to cry over the bill. What he said then, what the 93-year-old man said made the doctor cry. The old man said, I do not cry for the money I have to pay because I can't afford this. I cry because I've been breathing God's air for 93 years, but I never paid for it. It takes 500 euros to use the respirator in the hospital for one day. Do you realize how much after 93 years I owe God? I have never even thanked God for this before. And then Nick says, the words of this man deserve our reflection. When we breathe freely without pain and disease, no one takes the air seriously. Only when we get to a hospital, we can know that even breathing oxygen with an artificial respirator costs money. Thank God for the time you've spent all your life because you can breathe freely. And when I think of how hard it was for Larry to breathe for so many years, we really have to thank God. Today, please thank God for the air that you have to breathe that is fresh and not killing us. So you know how on Facebook sometimes will post, pop up a memory. This happened, you had this memory X number of years ago. Would you like to post it again? So I shared it again today. He prayed this prayer on the program on May 10th, 3 years ago, 2018. And then I just wrote a little note. I said, when you start hearing about the demise of deep state leaders, please know he was still working to bring them down until the last few hours of his life. Anyone who donated to keep him alive can be assured of having a share in all that he accomplished. So he called this a patriot's prayer. So I'm going to read it to you. And I'm going to do my best to get through it, you guys. Bear with me, okay? He said, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. I come to you in prayer to ask for your guidance and strength to help preserve the greatest nation on earth, a nation which was founded on your name. The time has come for more of us to join the fight against the evil that has control of our country. Our nation is being torn apart by power and greed, yet the efforts I make seem to fall short of bringing justice to those who wish to destroy us. Guys, he got really discouraged. By December of 2019, he called me and said, Marilyn, I don't know if we're going to win this one. He said, it's now clear to me, O Lord, that the battle is spiritual. Remember his last words to us? There is nothing more important than seek God's face. That is what we have left to us now. And that was 2.5 years after this prayer. I have learned through trial and error, to get back to the prayer here, I've learned through trial and error that I alone cannot do away with such evil. I think there was a time when he thought he could, and he finally realized that there was more to this than just Larry. He said, I have no way to conquer the powers of darkness except to call on your name. Forgive us as a nation for having betrayed our country, the gift you have given us all, and for having allowed it to fall into the hands of leaders who neither serve you nor the people they promise to represent. This is a prayer for patriots, Lord, acknowledging that all true patriots throughout our country declare themselves to be believers in you. We understand that we are not capable of fighting the devil, but you are, and you enable us to win in your name. I hate what I'm seeing, and worse still, I hate what I'm feeling, because there seems to be no end to the evil coming out of Washington and being brought home to us. So, Father, I seek your face. You know what? Too bad he's not here to say, look, Larry, in 2018, May 10th, you were asking to seek God's face. I ask that you bring forth your loving, good angels to stand beside me and all of the patriots in the land. That includes you guys. I'm sorry that we, the people of our great nation, have waited far too long and allowed too much to happen that displeases you. And I know how he tried those since he turned against the Clintons, those 30 some years that he fought to teach us what we needed to do, and how hard it was to get anybody to listen and do. So I'm sorry that we, the people of our great nation, have waited too long and allowed too much to happen that displeases you. But I'm here today with repentance, seeking remedy, a clarification of your plan and my small part in it. I have seen you deliver miracles. Boy, he saw them day after day when the money came in. Oh, man, he even commented. And the number of times that they tried to kill him. He had just been poisoned with ricin before he did this. I have seen you deliver miracles, and I simply ask if it might be possible for you to grant us another one. I can say here in this prayer, Father, that we are not worthy of your favor when our voices calling your name have been so few. I ask your forgiveness of me and my sins. And Lord, I also ask you to forgive our people in this country for collectively committing sins against you, just like Daniel 9, praying for his people. I pray here today that you will come to us once again and give us the hope and the power to get our country back again. Father, I need you to help me have the strength to persevere and to do my part in the salvation of our nation. Father, I beg these things of you, not for myself, but for our children and our grandchildren who will have to live under this evil, godless government if we don't act now. I don't come to you as often as I should, and I don't live the life of righteousness that I should. But if there's a way to help me and others who believe we are patriots, then let us to see your plan and our part in it, what each and every one of us must do. We used to be a nation of laws, but Father, today the laws apply only to those who are not in the establishment elite. More egregious than that is the fact that we have removed you and allowed evil to permeate our schools, our institutions, and our government. That's where I know we've gone wrong. Maybe we have not slandered your name. Maybe we have not officially as a country moved away from you, but we have committed the greatest sin of omission that I have ever seen or heard when we deny that you are the foundation of our nation. Remember, he's told us that Pastor Ernie Sanders, the pastor who led him to the Lord, he told us, Pastor Sanders said there are two ways of sinning. One is the sins that you commit. The other is of sins of commission. The other is the sin of omission, your failure to do what's right. So that's what he's talking about here. We have committed the greatest sin of omission that I've ever seen or heard when we deny that you were the foundation of our nation. You know, Joe Biden on the National Day of Prayer did not mention the name of God at all. And I heard somebody saying in the last 24 hours, they said, As a communist, he believes that the government is our God. As a patriot, Larry said, I declare that with your help, we will once again make you the rock that will save us and make us strong again. Bless President Trump, guide him, and surround him with good counsel so he may do your work. Now, please help me as I try to get others to stand with me in a commitment stronger than ever to put your name at the top of the power structure in our nation. Father, these things I ask in your name as a patriot who's trying to find my footing and do my part with your guidance. Amen. So Diva, you are giving another example of a baby who died. Can you imagine nursing your baby and watching it just bleed to death? So, because this was 3 years since Larry prayed that prayer, I wanted to share it with you again. Sorry for the interruptions, but I just felt that they were appropriate to give a little extra information. I'm not going to do any scripture reading today. I was going to read Psalm 55, 6, and 7, the 3 chapters. Maybe we'll get to that tomorrow. I did promise to start on the prayer of Isaiah, but we may have to put that on off another day. Quantum, do you have a link for that? What you just shared there? I have seen it. I have seen that plan. I know that was something that Biden and not Biden, Obama, and my understanding is that Obama and Fauci were very much involved in that and helped to provide funding, and maybe even Gates to provide funding for that, and had been over there at Wuhan, helping to set things up. So, I've seen that said before, and we have to be careful when we see something said multiple times that everybody isn't just sharing the same fake news. But I have heard different people that I think have the truth going around this story from different ways. So, V, you're right. And I'm afraid that is even going to include members of my own, at least one member of my own family. So I'm scrolling up and I don't see it, Quantum. I don't see where you actually gave a link. I said, I know you said, did you see a document? But I didn't see where the link was actually there. I'm looking. Anyhow, that's all I've got. That's all I've got for today. God bless you. Man, keep praying. And I think some of the people, for example, Coach Dave Daubenmire is right. There are times based on James 2. Okay, Quantum, thank you. If you will send it to Mary Ellen for the number 4, Mary Ellen for Larry at Yahoo, I will find a way to put it in tomorrow. Larry's videos on the Clinton were called the Clinton Chronicles. I know Alex Jones redid it. He updated it or put it out again, Clinton Chronicles. Other than that, I don't know, CJ. I don't know. So that's it for today, folks. God bless you. I will be back tomorrow. And I'm sorry I got through the prayer. Wasn't sure I'd be able to do that. So anyhow, thanks. If anybody wants a copy of it, I am sending it to somebody else. And if you want a copy, I can send it to Barb and have her put it up on the nicholslive.com website. So maybe I'll just go ahead and do that. I have a few books that I still need to get out, but I don't know that I have any more. So you're going to have to give me some time. I am in the middle of trying to pack to move, and my life is just, yeah. God bless you guys. Thanks for being here. Bye-bye.